Hello, my name is Insung Ryu, and my topic is about the bottleneck effect. And this is just for a visualization, and I'm gonna talk about, what the bottleneck effect is. And I'm gonna explain the population with this 50원, 10원, and a button. Yeah. I have 15 of 50원s and 10원. And I only have 3 buttons, which explains the population amount. So let's get right into it. Hello, my name is Insung Ryu, and today I have Burhan with me here. Yes, can you just do a short introduction?
Hello everyone, I'm Brian Kim from 8th grade.
Okay, so today I'm going to talk about biology. Do you know what biology is?
Yeah,
Kind of?
yeah,
Can you just surely
It's like studying word things.
Oh, yeah. So it's like the study and like the science of, looking into living animals and plants, humans, and even like smaller parts in the body, like cells.
Yes.
Yeah, those stuff. Now, do you know what a cell is?
So, it is some things together make a bigger.
Oh, yeah, you're correct.
Tissues.
Yeah, so it's the smallest thing, right?
Yes.
A smallest thing that can live by itself. And like you said, it forms of the tissue and organisms. So, yeah, it's like us humans, we are all made up of cells.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, okay, now I'm going to talk about today evolution. Now, what is evolution?
It is opposite of creation. It's like people evolved from monkeys. Those are like the main.
Yeah. That's the most famous theory. So evolution is, you're correct, it's the process where living things like change and grow as time passes, like how they look, how they act and all this stuff. And yeah, it also changes like the human DNA and those stuff, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so do you know what a DNA is?
DNA is twisted letter.
Oh yeah. So it's like a helix twisted
Yeah.
form, so it's like a Lego instruction book. It tells you what to do, what to build up, like a certain parts of living things, so that you can. So DNA changes how you look and how you act and all those stuff. That's what DNA does. Okay, so now in evolution, there is a thing called genetic drift. Do you know genetic drift?
Is it like parents give us?
Yeah, it's kind of like related to parents too, but so genetic drift is one reason that causes evolution, and genetic drift is just a happening, it's a sudden cause that happens unexpectedly in an environment such as volcano erupting, earthquakes or forest fire. It's just sudden happening that changes the environment, and this kind of genetic drift makes a sudden change in animal and plants, right? So I'll just give you one example. If a sudden fire happened in our school forest, then many plants and animals that were living here will die out, right? So that's just one example of a genetic drift. And now I have this thing called a bottleneck effect. It is one type of genetic drift where a population or the number of living things suddenly drop, so it suddenly dies out. And that kind of thing brings out genetic variation because of an unexpected or harmful events that many animals die out. And so I'll just show you an example. So I have a 10원, I have 50원, I have buttons. And let's say they're all animals, okay? They're living peacefully one day, but suddenly this natural disaster right here occurs. Okay, then many animals will die out, right?
Yes.
And only a few of them will live. So the ones that come out are the living ones. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So as you can see, only 3 10원, 1 50원, and 1 button has survived this natural disaster.
Yeah.
This is kind of the bottleneck effect. I watched this. Okay, so now this genetic drift brings genetic variation, okay? Genetic variation tells us how many different kinds there are in the same type of animal. Like for example, a dog is the same animal, right? But there are like many different kinds, such as poodles, bulldogs, and chihuahuas. Yeah, but that is like genetic diversity, difference in some species. And now, how does genetic variation relate to evolution? So if this bottleneck effect occurs, there is going to be a less amount of genetic diversity, right? Because many animals are going to die out. Then due to that, evolution will occur as a small number of animals and plants try to live stronger, make more new babies, and trying to increase the population. Yeah, so you understand anything?
Yes.
Okay, then thank you.
Hello, my name is Insan Ru from 11th grade, and today I'm going to talk about the bottleneck effect. And so today I have a guest, Young. Could you give a brief introduction of yourself?
My name is Young and I'm also a 11th grade.
Okay, so I want to ask you, do you know what biology is?
I think biology is basically the study of living things.
Yeah, you're correct. It's the study of living things such as cells and how it functions, heredity, evolution, ecology, and more. So overall, it is just a deeper study into organisms, which is, as I said, living things. And it teaches us such as how they function and interact with the surrounding environment. So yeah. Now, do you know what evolution is?
Basically a monkey becoming a human, I think.
Yeah, that's one of the most famous theory, a monkey developing into a human. And you're correct, it's a biological process where organisms develop, they grow, and diverse, they change, and it descends along the original ancestral life, both genetically and physically, phenotypically. And also evolution occurs as parents pass down traits to their offspring. Kids change and they're different from their parents. Yeah. So, and now, do you know what DNA or traits are? DNA or traits?
Can you explain?
Yeah. So traits are kind of like genetic information, what you have in your cells, which make up how you look or how you act and all those stuff. So those kind of stuff, the DNA and the traits, it affects certain characteristics and quality of all the living organisms. Yeah. Now I want to go into a little bit deeper. Do you know what genetic drift is?
Genetic drift?
Yeah.
Don't really know, but I guess I think it has something to do with changes happening.
Yeah. You're kind of on the right track. So it is when it's like one mechanism of evolution. So it's one process of evolution where it occurs due to chance. So it's a sudden happening. This is where like events happen that was unexpected, such as like a volcano or eruption, earthquake, and those kind of stuff. And the genetic drift changes the frequency of certain genes, and it can lead to changes in genetic materials as well. Now, one of the genetic drift is the bottleneck effect, which I'm going to talk about today, the main thing. Do you know what the bottleneck effect is? Yeah, so a bottleneck effect is an extreme type of genetic drift where a sudden natural event occurs and affects the population and the genetic variation to decrease. So animals decrease, because they die out suddenly. And this causes only small amount of population to survive, right? Because sudden natural changes kills all animals and only few individuals survive. So here I have an example. This is a bottle, right? This is the bottleneck effect, and as you can see, natural disaster, right? So let's say I have different types of population. One is Shimon, the second one is Ushimon, the third one is Button. Okay? So now let's say they were living all together peacefully, okay? But suddenly, suddenly happens, and so many animals die, right? This happens by chance, right? It's not, let's make an earthquake. it's suddenly an earthquake. Then only, as you can see, a few populations survive, right? As you can see, only some 50원 and 10원 has survived a population, right? The button has died out because it could not go through the event. So yeah, now it's almost the ending, and so now I want to ask you, what is genetic variation?
Genetic variation. I think it's pretty much the same changes happening in certain group of animals or
Yeah. That's correct. You know, the genetic variation describes like variation or differences in a genetic information within the same species. Okay. For example, let's say there are 3 different kinds of dog. Okay, a Chihuahua, a Bulldog, and a Poodle. They're same dog, but they're kind of different types, right? So they're all a dog, but they genetically they are different, right? That's genetic variation. Now, last question. This is the final one. How does this bottleneck effect relate to evolution? Do you know how this causes evolution?
well, you said the traits of parents is like depends to their own offspring, right?
Yeah.
So basically, those parents, I think they survived because they were strong enough or they were lucky to control the disasters. So basically, the offsprings, like they have the traits of parents to survive.
Yeah.
Basically, those are like extinct died, they won't have any trace of them.
That's like totally correct. So you saw it, right? The bottleneck affects the population, right? And there's going to be a decrease in genetic diversity because all these different types of species and animals died out, right? So due to that, evolution will occur as small and similar populations of species or plants, right, try to survive, reproduce, make more babies, and trying to increase the population amount. So, and also through competition, which is fighting for like food or shelter, and natural selection, mutations, or gene flow, it also alters evolution. So, yeah, thank you for having an interview.